Hi. Thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I'm so grateful. I've been making videos for a while now and seeing people, interested in me talking about things I like. It's a beautiful thing. So, thank you once again. Enjoy the video. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my August reading wrap up. I'm going to be talking about books that I read this month and books that I plan on reading over the next 3 months or so. The books I read this month was Stoner by John Williams and Big Mall by Kate Black. And one thing I can say about these books is that they tried to give me existential dread. They didn't, but they could have. The themes in Stoner capture so many complex human emotions and how those emotions meet with a cold, indifferent reality. And the way that Stoner went about his life made me think about the human experience, the meaning of life as a whole, and how our choices shape our existence. Big Mall details the negatives associated with capitalism, consumerism, and the overall dark side of human nature. It made me think about my existence being in a capitalistic society and the general world around me on a broader scale. Thankfully, these books did not give me existential dread. It more so made me think about the topics a little bit more than I usually would. But I could definitely see it giving me that sense of dread if I wasn't in that good of a mental state. Because neither of these books really gave an optimistic outlook on what was being said. Nevertheless, it was still a good month for books, and we're just going to talk about them. Starting with Stoner. I heard a lot of hype around this book, and the hype was definitely worth it. For a story so simple, it is so profound. And for a story with a consistent theme of indifference, there's so much emotion and feeling. It is a calm yet simultaneously wild ride. The book is about the quiet, mundane life of William Stoner. He grew up working on a farm until he found passion in literature, which leads to him becoming a college professor. We go through his life, the ups and downs, up until his death. This is also around the periods of World War I and World War II. And so we see how that plays a part with the world around him. There's so much that can be interpreted from this book. So many beautiful themes and emotions that were so beautifully written. Emotions such as love, passion, joy, pain, numbness, anger, death, spiritual death. And the way it all flows with this linear story, with our seemingly indifferent main character, makes the story all the more engaging. It unexpectedly became a page turner. There were moments I did not know how to feel. By the time I put down the book after one night, I was looking around, I was like, dang. Although the book was sad, it was one of those books that are beautifully sad. The kind that gives me a good type of melancholy, if that makes sense. The kind that makes me introspective, but in a healthy way. For me, this book is a solid 4.5. Next, we have Big Mall by Kate Black. What first caught my attention about this book was the idea of having malls being the center point to open up topics about capitalism and consumerism and other topics surrounding that. And from the first chapter, I was immediately hooked. The author gives us some insight on the origins of malls being built and how the creator of malls didn't wish for it to evolve into what it is now. The book talks about Kate Black's experience growing up near West Edmonton Mall, one of the biggest malls in North America, and she shares statistics and facts about the malls in general. She writes about how she associated the mall with her personality, how the mall played a part in how she handles certain parts of her life. This also opens up topics that's associated with our society as a whole, once again with malls being the center point, such as animals in captivity, accidents and casualties, youth crime rates, stuff like that. This is also written around the COVID era, so a lot of what she's saying is fresh and somewhat relatable. Now, this is a good read, but throughout the reading, I was a bit thrown off, particularly when she'd go back and forth talking about the mall and talking about her own experiences, which that in itself I didn't mind, but the way she went about it once again just kind of threw me off a bit. I think I would have preferred if we had individual chapters talking about the mall and facts associated with the mall, and individual chapters talking about her personal experiences associated with it, so that the two don't seem to be fighting for attention and sort of tangling within one another. But aside from that, it was a good read, good and informative, and it opens your eyes and make you think a little bit more about something that seems so regular but has so much more of a cultural impact. I give it a solid 3.5 to 4 stars. It was a solid month for books, and now we're going to move on to our fall TBR. Fall is my favorite season, so it's only right that we get ourselves some good books. As you can see here, we have 6 books here, so these books should last me until September, October, November, to November. And I already got kind of a head start with the reads. And we're starting with Sula and not the Rage of Dragons, The Fires of Vengeance. If you watched my 5-star reads video, you already know that Toni Morrison has one of my favorite books of this year, and The Rage of Dragons, book 1 of the Fire of Vengeance series, is also a 5-star read of mine. So I don't even have to say that this is going to be a great month of books. I've already started. I'm not that deep into the books, but already what I've read has been good, and I'm excited for this month of books. I got this on Thrift Books, and it didn't come with the dust cover, but at least the name Sula is on the spine. I was already like a page in, and I'm like, yeah, that's why Toni Morrison's the GOAT. The Fire of Vengeance, already solid. We're picking up off where we left off in book 1. After that exciting and crazy final battle in sort of an in-game scenario where the odds are very much stacked against the main character. How are they going to make it through? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. That's my September reads, and for October, I plan on reading The Man Who Lived Underground and Against the Grain. And for November, we have The Picture of Dorian Gray. I heard that this is a good read, and Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I've heard a lot of good stuff about, a lot of hype around. I'm not going to talk about the books too much because once I do read the books, I do want to have a fresh perspective and a fresh experience, so I don't want to look too much into it. A lot of what I heard about all these books is just the synopsis and a few opinions. But just know that hopefully the plan is to, throughout the few months, read those books, talk about them, and whatnot. And with that, that pretty much wraps this up. I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever. Peace.